Good morning, everyone. All right, Al Vega's not here, but he'll be here. So welcome to. Oh, I'm a little loud on this thing this morning. That's good. That's good. Welcome to our town hall meeting for March. We have a couple of team members who are going to present some information today. I'll provide very little bit. I'll pass the microphone off to Emily. She'll provide some updates with Dan as well. Christine is going to provide some dining related updates, and Al, when he joins us, will provide some updates related to maintenance and grounds, and then we'll open things up for questions. Sound good to everyone? Alrighty. So, there's two things that I'll just want to present to you all. Things that you've heard before, but always good to repeat yourself and make sure that there's clarity. So, first thing first, related to building projects on campus. I know I am a broken record, but I don't have any exact specifics to share with you. But what we are approaching is submitting our application to the township for the PT, OT, and body shop space renovation. Now that is, you never assume that everything's going to go smoothly, especially when another entity and body is in control of giving you a yes or a no. But we strongly believe, based on the nature of the project and the very limited to no disruption anywhere outside of that exact space, we believe that approval process will go smoothly. We also anticipate the construction process, once we get started, to be about 6 to 7 months. That is what I have shared with you before, and we're still in that window, 6 to 7 months once we really get moving in there. The main question is, when are you getting moving? So we don't have an exact answer. My hope that I shared with you all previously, and my forecast was February, and I told you that in November. So I'm not going to estimate that because I was very wrong before, but I do know where it is. So we're looking for township approval, and then about 6 to 7 months is the window, we think, once that project gets started. So please stay tuned, and I apologize for my misforecasting. Maybe in my next role, I'll be a meteorologist, and I can have poor forecasts and no accountability for it. For the apartment aspect of it, we have shared before some plans that we have in our minds that we're working toward for an additional apartment on campus. So it's independent living. It is similar in size and structure to Oak Tree, and it would connect into the Oak Tree building. So everyone knows the large patch of green space out there, let's say, right? Everyone knows the space that I'm talking about. So what we are working through is the planning process for building a 3-story, 45-unit apartment building that has a connection point to Oak Tree. So it would come essentially toward the trailer and then take about a 45-degree angle from there. The planning process for that, as you can imagine, is significant. That is ongoing. And that construction time frame as well, from construction to finishing things up to then moving new residents in, you're looking at about a year and a half or so for that process to occur. Now, when does that kick off? No, that's even more of an estimate. So we have to go through not only the township approval process, which is a little more challenging based on the fact that it's new work and not renovating an old space. But then there are also 2 other factors that we're working through: the financing of it, as well as the marketing of it. So before we go to our lenders, whether it's a bank or whether we float bonds for this particular project, what we do is we want to make sure that we show them that there is interest and a market for this project. So typically what they look for, those lenders, is 70 to 80% of your units are already filled before you're stepping in their office. So we have a good, healthy waiting list. We have a strong marketing team. We have good research, and we believe that this product is popular enough and significant enough that many residents would want to sign up and join that list. So that is the kind of multi-phase portion of the process that we're going through. So that's for new building here on campus. In addition, another hot topic of conversation that comes up from time to time, budget for 2027. So this is not a news sharing, this is just a reminder of our process of how things go. And when I say budget, I mean all budget for the entirety of the campus, our capital budget, as well as our operating budget, which does include monthly fees from residents, which most likely will include an increase in that monthly fee beginning July 1st, 2026 for the next fiscal year. So a couple of reminders and timing. Our fiscal year for the organization is July 1st through June 30th. So when we say fiscal year 27, it means July 1, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. We are preparing for that as we speak. Working backwards from July 1st, June 1st or earlier, usually the week before, we share with residents what we have discussed, decided, and figured out in terms of a rate increase. So anywhere in that time frame or before. Prior to that, moving backwards, the Garden Spot Communities Board, which is ultimately the governing body of this community, as well as the entire Garden Spot operation, reviews and approves our fiscal year 27 budget the Friday before Memorial Day weekend. So that meeting is May 22nd. So that's when that would be, not reviewed, it's reviewed throughout, but approved on that day. Working back from there, between May 22nd and frankly, like February 1st, we're going through the process of figuring out budget. And what we do is twofold. Typically first, we review our expenses. We review where we are in this fiscal year. We review what may be needed for next year. We review capital projects. And we come up with what we believe is a good and fair estimate of what it will take to run Frederick Living for an entire year. And then we take that information and we review what sort of revenue we project. And then we add in something like, okay, if our expenses are going to increase by such amount, therefore we're going to aim to increase fees by Y amount. And that's how we go about the process. Like I said, I don't have any specifics to share for you all. I just want to give you a peek into what is happening and what will be coming down the pike. Sound right? Obviously, I'm here now for questions. We're all here now for questions, but I wanted to throw that out for you before we get started in the rest of the process. So now, I'm going to pass things off to Emily.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Emily Messner. I'm the Director of Residential Life, and I'm very excited today to have Ciao Bella, some of their directors as well as their stylists are in-house as well. So As you know, we have switched salon providers, and this is their first full week here at Ciao Bella, and they will be having an open house, meet and greet afterwards right by Freddy's. There's raffles, giveaways, some cookies. Stop on by. If you want to say just a word about yourself, each of you, that would be great, but we are super excited, and I've already enjoyed working with them during the transition.
First, I'd like to say thank you so much, Emily, for reaching out to me, and Michael for trusting us with your beautiful residents here. We can't wait to get to know everyone, but I'd first like to introduce myself. I'm Tina, the owner. This is Jotina, our salon coordinator, and you'll see her down at the Independent Living Salon today with our hairstylist, Julia, and then this is Alexandra, our director of operations, and she's up at the PC salon helping Kelly out. But I'm gonna have Alex take the floor because she's really running the business these days for us, and I'm kind of like behind the scenes, but I love coming and having all the fun like we're doing today.
Like she said, hi, I'm Alex. I'm the director of Ciao Bella. Tina is my lovely mother, actually. She opened up Ciao Bella out of King of Prussia about 35 years ago, and then about almost 30 years ago, she started in the senior living business. She now has 31 salons now, all in Montgomery, Delaware, and Chester County. So we are locally family managed, and we are nearby. So if there's any issues, we're here, we'll be here, we'll make sure things are running smoothly. I got a degree in finance and accounting, and now I'm actually in beauty school myself at nighttime. So I'm gonna fully eventually kick her out the door, and it will be my baby. But in the meantime, it's her baby. And this is lovely Jotina. She helps us full time. She's just like a sister to me now. She's a family, she's part of the family business, and she's not going anywhere. But if you ever need issues, please always contact us. We will always make sure there's a solution to make everybody happy. So.
Thank you, and don't forget to stop by the table afterwards. There's great information there as well.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone today? I'm Dan App, the Life Enrichment Manager. I just have some quick little highlights for us. Right after St. Patrick's Day kind of ends, we will end that with a Pride of Erin Irish dancers here on March 15th. So look on the touch town there for some Irish programs all next week. Something creative and enjoyable to look forward to. We'll be having a jelly bean guessing contest, a best decorated Easter egg contest. Then in April, we'll be doing a life enrichment survey here in the auditorium. Volunteers will be available to help anyone who needs it, and we'll share the results afterwards. There will be, a small thank you gift for participating. It'll probably be a Saturday morning, and we look forward to hearing some more insights about life enrichment and what we're doing and what maybe we could be doing. So we look forward to that. And starting in May, we're putting together a history program series focused on early American and the Revolutionary War. This will include some special events. There will be a patriotic prayer series with the chaplaincy department. And also we're looking for some guest speakers to come in and give us some of our history about the American Revolution. So thank you very much. All right, who's next? Al, okay.
Hello, everyone. I am super excited about Monday and Tuesday of next week. Can anybody guess why? Motorcycle. Yes, the temperature is going to be just perfect for a motorcycle ride. And some of you know I do ride a motorcycle a lot, and it's been sitting in the garage for the past few months now, looking at me, saying, when are you gonna take me out again? But I said Monday and Tuesday, so super excited about that. With that said, it means that it's going to start to get warmer here pretty soon. And, it goes from like super cold to warm. In Pennsylvania, it's kind of one of those places where it's not really in between. So we have large buildings that takes a long time for either to cool down or warm up. So with the warmer temperatures coming in a few days and then cooling off again, the temperatures inside these buildings are going to be all over the place. So be patient. Right now, our cooling towers are off, and they will probably be off for another month or so before we are able to turn them back on. So that means that if in warmer days like the next week when the temperature goes up, it might be a little bit warmer than usual in some places because there's no cooling yet. So we might have to crack a window open here and there, especially in the apartments and stuff like that, if it gets too warm. With that said, I was running a little bit late because, of course, that triggered my mind on what we need to do to start making sure that our cooling equipment is running like it should when the weather gets here. So I was talking to the HVAC people about how we're going to start the process of doing all the maintenance and all the required work before the warm weather gets here. I think that I heard Mike talking about a little bit about budgeting and stuff like that. So there's some capital projects that I've been working on for this coming year. Next week, the window people call me and say, hey, since it's gonna be really nice next week, we have ordered some windows for some of the houses in Maplewood. So those are gonna get installed next week when the weather is nice. So I think we already contacted the residents about that. So you might see some people doing that. Of course, we're doing this in stages. So I know that Maplewood windows will have to get replaced, but we have to do it, a few at a time. You can just like do everything at once. So we'll do three of the cottages first, and then once the right time gets here, we'll do the next set, and then so on. Same thing with the roofs. The roof, I think that for the same set of houses will happen sometime at the end of March, early April. They will change that roof, and then we'll schedule for the next set of houses and so on. Another thing that we're doing in the Maplewood cottages is we'll keep working on the drains. I know that was an issue last year when it rained a lot, when we had those downpours during the summertime. We did some work, and we'll continue to do some work. That is a process that takes a lot of time and a lot of money, because anytime that you have to bring equipment to start digging into the ground, we have to get all these people involved. So the prices keep going up. So we have to find the most easier way that we could do things. At the same time, don't pay tons of money for a small job that is going to affect just a few people, but at the same time, let's do it right. And I don't like to just be, hey, let's do a quick fix. I want to make sure that whatever we do, if we have to break, especially the ground, open it up. Let's do it right the first time and not just do a little bit at a time. So that's why it's taking longer than some of you might like, but that's the whole reason behind it, is that we don't want to put a Band-Aid on it and then keep having issues. So another thing that we are working on this year will be the parking lots and the roads. I know there's a lot of patchwork that needs to get done. We're budgeting for that right now, so like that when the right time comes, we are able to, we're not gonna repave the whole entire parking lot or the drives, but we are going to be fixing the most severe spots that need immediate attention. So stay tuned for that. Trees, we'll continue working, especially there's some trees that have a lot of fruit on them that cover the sidewalks and stuff like that. It's really annoying. I know that will be annoying to me too if I have to walk through it and then bring that stuff to my house. So we have identify the ones that we want to remove. So that will also be happening sometime this year. Also working with Garden Spot, Village Director of Campus Services, to help us complete the project that we started last year. We remove all the dead bushes around the house, around the houses. So I'm actually meeting with him next week to start talking about how we're gonna replace and when we're gonna replace those things that we removed. I know that a few other projects that might affect the whole community and I'm working on is that we have some aging systems, meaning that they've been here for a long time, and it's time to start thinking about how we're going to and when we're going to repair them. So one of them is our water system. So we have these big giant water tanks in the room right behind here, and they have served really well. They're still working really well, but we are already thinking, hey, before something happens, let's have a plan to replace those things. So I'll be working with different contractors, getting estimates and proposals on how to do it, what is the best way. So in the hopefully near future, this year or next year, we'll be able to make some of those changes, so like that we don't run into a wall, but like, oh, now we have to do something and we don't have a plan. So we are slowly planning, and so like that we have the right people and the right amount of money that is needed. As you can tell, everything that we do in a place like this costs a lot of money, so we have to plan way ahead of time and try to find the right people and have the right plan. Again, we don't want to do it a fast job. We want to do a project that's going to last another 25 years. It was done right the first time, but now it's time to redo it. So that's what we're trying to do. So it's water. Our sewer system also needs some work. So I know that I sent a message to everyone. If you don't know, we have a sewer plant that we have to treat our own water before it goes back into the stream. So it's getting old, and some of the stuff that is causing issues right now is there's been a lot of material that the plant can process, meaning like those disposable wipes that you get at the store, even though they might say are okay to flush, they're not okay to flush into our system. Maybe if it was like a public system that they have bigger machines and it's a lot bigger, maybe those are safe for those, but our system is kind of small, just for our community. So I think once a week he has to go there and unclog this stuff. So please put it in the trash can or use regular toilet paper. That will break down a lot easier than those disposable wipes. So we are upgrading some of the parts in the sewer plant. Another project that we're working on is our boilers in this room back here, and even Oak Tree. You know, they have served their purpose. They are getting to the end of their lives, so we're also working with different contractors on how to replace them, and on the faces, how many we're gonna replace at one time, and how long we're gonna be doing it. Because like the boilers that are here in this building, not only they provide heat for Magnolia, Aspen, and all these buildings, but they also provide all the hot water for all these buildings, including the apartments. So we are staying proactive before something happens. How can we make sure that nothing happens, and let's upgrade the system so like that we are able to keep serving you well without interruptions. Or if any interruption will be very minor, because we're working on it, and not because, oh, the thing broke, now what? So we are getting, right now I have a team working on a proposal for this room right here, behind the upper, we call the upper boiler room. And then finally, for the residents that live in Oak Tree, the 3rd floor, we are also working on the process on how we're going to, on when we're going to do the refurbishment of the third floor. I know that it's past due, so we are working on that, and hopefully that gets done sometime during this year. And if you have any questions at all, you can always ask Mike.
Hello, hello. Hello. Okay, so did everyone see the notice out about the reusable containers? Okay, good. So they're out and about, they're green, they're available in the bistro. So you can ask the servers anytime for those, use them, take them home, clean them, and then you can bring them back and put them on the rack over in the bistro for the dirty dishes. And then we will sanitize them and put them back out. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So that was a long project and it's out and we're very excited.
Are they microwavable?
They are. They are microwavable. That was a big question, so yes. And then also we have a St. Patty's dinner coming on St. Patty's Day in Fireside. It's gonna be reservation only. We're doing corned beef and cabbage, bangers and mash, all kinds of good stuff. Trish is making a Bailey's cheesecake for that event, so she said, get me the big bottle. I was like, okay. So that's coming on the 17th. That'll be reservation only. And I just want to pump up our chef stage a little bit. Luke's been working really, really hard, our sous chef in the kitchen, getting some really exciting stuff going for chef stage. And he's trying to get that out to you all a week in advance because he's trying to get some people out and about. So keep your eye on that. He has some really good stuff. I don't know if anybody had the gyro on Wednesday, but it was very good. Very, very good. Yeah, yes.
Is there any way you could put that on the menu so we can see a week ahead of time?
Okay, so that was a big question. Originally, I had kind of tried to steer clear of that, but just because we didn't always know a week in advance what we were doing. So Luke is working over the next couple of weeks to plan that out, and then we will eventually get it on the menu. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Yeah, so yes, eventually it will be in the next couple weeks, yes. Anything else? Okay, sounds good.
Hello. Okay. So, microphone-wise, real quick. I was asked twice by two separate people last week, and I've never been asked this question before, and I never had the answer. The question was, don't you have more than two microphones? Why do you have one here? Why don't you have three and it makes it easier? The answer is, I've never thought of that before. We do have three microphones. Right now, we have two, because one is getting a new battery pack, and the other now appears not to be working. So we have one microphone, but I will make my way around for any questions that you may have so that we can get them in the mic. But the general answer is, yes, we have three, and when they're all working, we will utilize all three. Fair enough?
That's not this one, that's you.
Do me a favor. Not anymore. I was working.
Now we're down to one mic, go ahead.
Yeah, just leave that one off.
All right.
So, without further ado, are there any questions? Yes.
Just out of idle curiosity, the new apartments, the 45 unit apartments, are you folks considering a name for that?
Are we considering a name? Yes. Have we landed on one? No. But good question. Yes, we are considering names. You can offer your suggestion. I can't say it will be taken, but they can be offered. Question over here.
What's the number of that mic that's being Number 2.
That was a strictly microphone-related question that Judy answered herself, so never mind that. while you're thinking of questions, if nothing comes up, when Al was providing an explanation related to the cooling tower, so we have a cooling tower, which in my mind, I don't know if this is true, but in my mind is a gigantic air conditioner. It provides air conditioning to all of this building, as well as Oak Tree, right? As well as the Oak Tree building, essentially this entire space. What I knew, but I needed some clarification on is, okay, well, why can't we just turn the air conditioning on? It's because somewhere around the fall, we drain it and turn it off. And sometime in the spring, we fill it back up and turn it on. Why do we do that? Because it's outdoors and because it would freeze if we just let it be. So we have to guesstimate when an appropriate time is to fill it back up and turn it on, because it takes a lot of time, it takes some cash, it takes some reasonable guesstimating to pick that time, usually in April, when we fill it back up and turn it back on. Because we don't want to fill it up next week when it's 75 degrees and then have a 30 degree or 20 degree day in March, and then it's frozen and we go, oh boy, that's a bad idea. So that's the art more than science that we play with our cooling tower.
So do we have one cooling tower, and what was the other tower it was placed in for? A heating tower? There was a...
Al, do you want to provide a little bit of an overview there?
Yeah, so we do have two cooling towers. One cooling tower is strictly for the Oak Tree apartments. That's the one that was just replaced. That only provides cooling for the apartments. And then the other cooling tower provides cooling for all the Magnolia building on Aspen and part of the dining area.
I knew that.
Hi. After all these expenses, I almost hate to bring this up, but we've been talking about adding a full-time nurse or someone Tuesdays and Thursdays to fill in. And I was told the best way to do that would be to have a petition. So is there anyone here who's interested that would take care of that? A petition that would, it's basically to have someone available for independent living people, okay, in case something happens, because there have been a few incidents. So, much as I suspected, is there anyone going to raise their hand?
Can I provide a little bit of overview there?
Yes.
So what I hear Kay referencing is related to the services that we currently provide in the Wellness Suite from Lori Daly specifically, our nurse. So and totally hear what you're saying, but providing a bit of context from how I see it as well. So we provide 20 hours worth of nursing availability for independent living residents from Frederick Living. Lori is a part-time employee. There are, and this isn't being callous, but there's 168 hours in a week. Even if we were to provide 40 hours of care, that would not be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not the way we're structured. That's not the way we operate. If we were to provide 40 hours a week, if we were to double what we currently provide, it is something that we can do. It is something, though, that you have to weigh the benefit of the expense versus what the need is. That is not to say that 40 hours isn't the answer, But at the moment, that is where we have placed that need. If we want to, Nate Weber, our CFO, says, you know, if you guys want to, we can do anything you would like. But there are associated costs with that that we have to weigh. What are the benefits versus what are the costs? So just providing that larger context, particularly this time of year as we're looking at our fiscal year budgets.
This just came to my attention. I know all of us are doing our taxes now, and did you know that there is a rental rebate available now? And if you get a form and you have it filled out, and it would be signed here, I believe. I don't know how much the rebate is. The individual I talked to who did it, she got $250. I don't know if it's a set fee or whether it's how much, you know, you are paying. But that's something I think we should know about. And also, I didn't realize that Betsy Nader was a notary of the public. So when I had to go get something notarized and signed, there's no charge for it. And she's right behind Lisa McCartan's office, for those who don't know. Okay?
I'd like to go back to the nurse for 40 hours a week, 5 days a week. We used to have that. And other things were provided by that nurse, that they would do follow-up with people. They'd also have training for other things. We had a vital bottle that we kept in the refrigerator that they would update, and 20 hours a week is at our age in Oak Tree. And I thought that was also for anybody in the cottages would have availability from that nurse. Not sure on that part. But there is a lot of older people in Oak Tree, and they're needing assistance. And when we first came here, this is what we were told. We have a 40-hour-a-week nurse during the week, and if there was any other problems, you have urgent care, or you go yourself to the ER. So I'm not sure why the budget was cut, that it's down to 20 hours a week. I'm sure Lori is very capable of doing 40 hours a week, if you would consider that.
Thank you. To clarify, what we transitioned from is in the past fiscal year, in fiscal year 2025, we had Jamie Langer in that similar position, who was a 40-hour-a-week employee, but she was budgeted 20 hours in the same way that Lori is. And then she worked 20 hours as the infection preventionist for Cedarwood. So she had split time. So that budgeted amount has not changed. What we have added is a full-time social worker in the form of Tammy Zumstein, who does provide a significant amount of services to independent living residents as well as personal care residents. So we have not cut any of those services. What we have done is we have layered in social work services that we did not before. But to your point, there are always conversations about what is the right amount of nursing care that we can provide for assisted living residents. And to your question, yes, those services are available to any residents on campus.
In regards to the rent rebate, Kay, I just went through my tax forms, and in order to get the rent rebate, one of the qualifications is you had to be a widow. Yeah, just you know, that was what HR Block told me. Yeah.
This is all different. A couple of years ago, they said they were going to improve the entrance to Oak Tree Court. Nothing's been done. People can't get on the bus right. There's not enough cutout. If there's a car parked there, you gotta go down a big curb, and people have fallen. There's cracks between the cement, your wheels get caught in them. We need more of a level, not so steep. It's hard to go down. All the other entrances are straight out, and that's where the people go out now.
So when Al was discussing capital improvements, one of the items that he mentioned was paving. So when I hear paving, I think, okay, streets, but paving includes sidewalks, concrete, and the street itself. So we are aware of that, and that is part of what those improvements are going to be. Yes. It has to be level, can't be a slope down. Understood.
Becky just looked this up. In order to get this rebate, you have to have an annual income of 19,000 or 15,000. I beg your pardon. No glasses on. $15,000 or less. You can be a widow or a widower.
Thank you.
Mike, I remember when I had my house in Earl Township. A couple times after my husband passed away, I did get $250 back in my taxes on the house. So there was a question here. Do we pay with our monthly fee? Some of that money goes from your taxes for the property. Is that included in our payment? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're trying to say. And no, it's one of those things where I have a knowledge base that's not enough to provide an answer that might sound reasonable, but might not be fully correct, and I don't want to provide kind of a half-truth. But I think that's something that I can bring back to Nate Weber, our CFO, and kind of pull out the clarity that you're looking for on that, because I would like that too.
Yeah, because it does go on how much money you have too.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. Anyhow, that's what I found out with me. And the ad that's on TV telling you that you get $1,000, that's not always true, because let's say if you have $500,000 in stocks and all that counts, you know, because you're getting some income from that. And that's why, you know, I mean, I have investments, but at that time, after my husband died, you know, the property and everything, the taxes, it was, yeah, $250. It was good, but it wasn't $1,000. But, you know, this is what they're putting on TV. They don't tell you that.
I had Bruce and Frank look at their watches, so, okay. I get it, guys, I get it.
He needed another question. I just want to remind everybody, since we have the new food plan, you can fill out a form by March 24th, and you can change your food plan up or down for the next 3 months, starting April, May, and June. So this is the first time that's been available after the first quarter of this year. So if anyone wants to change their food plan, you have to submit by March 24th. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank. And Bruce now, too. Both looking at their watches, both with questions.
You're the one that brought my name up, so now I have a question for you. Since you talked about the new construction and you said it's going to head towards the trailer, are you insinuating that the trailer's still going to be there when the construction starts?
No. So we've talked about that space before. There's 2 catches there. One, this is with a giant caveat of, from what I understand and have been told. One, the way that it is constructed, the size of it, what's inside of it, it is not something that we can sell in any way, shape, or form to someone else for utilization. 2, it's going to be expensive to get out of here. Not wildly expensive, but expensive enough where until we have to do it, we're not going to do it. And it makes a lot more sense to lump in exactly the cost of that removal while construction crews are already on site building another site, just to knock that one out and take that out with it. So yes, that will be part of that process. But that's financially, that's the way that it will make the most sense to remove that piece.
Just dig a big hole and bury it.
Or we could bury it, yes. Since Frank had the mic, just a quick thank you. Truly, I know he doesn't want it, but truly, we all know there were many, many, many people involved with the Olympics, with the Winter Olympics this time around. But we do know also that Frank has a heavy hand to play in that. It really went well. And I wasn't here on Tuesday night, but I hear it was a packed house and a lot of fun. So thank you, Frank. And I know I'm going to get some heat for just saying that, but sorry, Frank. Didn't mean to embarrass you. Anybody else? I think we did a healthy job today. We'll take it. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thanks for your time.